Yo, 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 it is week 8. You are flying. You are very much 2/3 of the way through this already. I hope you've learned some amazing things. So this week we want to talk briefly about alcohol and eating out. Now I know across the weeks already, we've already gone out and you've already probably asked us some questions on how to achieve this, how to kind of make the most out of your results that you want to get while still allowing yourselves to have a social life. Now that's the really important thing. No diet and no goal that you have is ever worth more than your life. So what you need to do is make sure that your diet fits in with your lifestyle. So you understand how you can still eat out, how you can still drink alcohol while still getting the results that you want. Last week, you should have received the flexible dieting guide. Now this really takes a turn and kind of gets deep into the fundamentals of flexible dieting and how you can understand how to fit in alcohol. You can go out, how to work out your own calories, the importance of the different macronutrients as well. So you should kind of have an already basic idea. This week, nice and simple, we've given you 2 little secret guides. Number 1, it is the on-the-go options. So there's going to be times when you're out, you're on the go, and maybe you haven't had time to plan. You're going to have to head up a shop. Now, when we go into the shop, we know obviously that we need to get ourselves some good food, but sometimes we get a little bit struggled as to what kind of food is best for us to get. So we've given you some options of protein, carbohydrates, and fats. Obviously, we know that the majority of the time, the first thing we want to aim for is the proteins. We want to get the proteins in first, and then we're going to get some carbs and fats with that. Again, maybe you just want carbs. Sometimes maybe you just want protein and fats. It's completely up to you with regards to exactly what you choose. But you know that the first thing you want to be going for is the protein. So I definitely take a look at that, identify the protein sources, and it will give you a little insight as to when you hit up the shops, actually what things you want to be aiming for, which are going to be good, easy, on-the-go options, which aren't going to be too calorific, so you can actually keep your calories in line with your goals, but also still have some nice food that you can get just from the shop on the go. The other one is the new book that I put together. It is an eating out options. We have given you 5 or 6, I think it's 6, of the main high street options. You've got Burger King, McDonald's, KFC, Wagamama's, Pizza Express, and they are a kind of like common restaurant that a lot of people go to. Now we've just given you a little sneak peek into some of the lowest calorie options when you go. Oh, and Nando's is in there as well. So there's 4 to 5 for each one. And we've given you the lowest calorie meal options when you're there. Also, not only that, it's not to give you kind of like the low calorie options. It's actually just to give you an insight into how many calories are in the things. Now, that is an important thing to note here. Now, when you are eating out, most of the time, what you want to do is either just make a few small decisions, okay, just to keep yourself on track. You've got a few choices. Number 1, you can always just look, okay, at the menu beforehand. So you can always get the menu beforehand, exactly how I managed to make the book. I actually went on the websites and looked at nutrition information. So if you know where you're going, 9 times out of 10 nowadays in society, they actually have the nutritional information on the internet. So you can search that up, or even just searching up the menu, so that when you get there, you're not just guided by the excitement and the palatability of the foods, because as soon as you go somewhere, you're going to initially look at it and be like, oh, one that looks good, it's going to taste amazing. Whereas if you actually get the menu beforehand, you can sometimes just make a bit more of a mindful choice, and you'll be guided more about kind of with what you want to achieve with regards to your goals. Now, that isn't saying that, you can't have that burger and chips. It's just saying that occasionally you can actually make a more lower calorie mindful option. Again, if we want to go for the burger and chips, absolutely fine. We've got to have that. We've got to enjoy it. Simple way of dealing about that is just making slightly smaller options throughout the rest of the day. Okay, so whatever meal it is that you're going out, make sure that the other meals are a little bit smaller. That's really simple, and it's something that's so basic that actually isn't going to take you a lot of time, isn't going to cause you a lot of stress, but actually is going to help you keep in line with your goals in the long term. So you can still have those nice foods, you can still have those burgers, those chips, those pizzas. You're just going to pull back some calories earlier on the day to provide kind of like a calorie buffer. If you know that you're going to have a really big meal out, so you know that maybe the meal out that you're choosing is going to be extremely high in calories, then what you could do is even look at pulling back some calories either the day before, 1 to 2 days, and even 1 to 2 days after. Depending on how, as you're going on, you're obviously going to realize some things are higher in calories than others, and you're going to start to learn how many calories are in things. So if I was, for example, know that I'm going to have maybe a curry Saturday night, prime example, I know that a curry, and then if I'm going to have maybe some chocolate after, and I'm probably having like a date night, I know it's going to be a lot. I know that those calories are going to rack up well over 1,000 calories. So I've got choices. I can either skip breakfast, just have lunch, then have that. And then I'll make sure the lunch is low in calories. Or what I'll do is I'll literally just take off 200 calories on the Thursday, 200 calories on the Friday to give me an extra 400 calorie buffer for the Saturday. And if I think then, okay, maybe I'm still a little bit over, you know, if I really want to, I could even take a couple of 100 calories off the day after. Now, to note here, it isn't about being perfect. Now, we're never going to get to be perfect in life. We're never going to make it absolutely on the calorie, you know, hitting it nail on the head, knowing exactly how many calories are in these things. But as long as we're being somewhat accountable, it just gives us that little bit of leeway, gives us that calorie buffer, and make sure that we don't completely go too far over our calories. Again, as we know, like the occasional meal out that you don't have time to plan for, and say it's just completely thrown you last minute, you go out, you enjoy it, you come back, one meal here and there that you don't track, you don't kind of like a bit accountable for isn't gonna make a huge difference, okay? We're asking just to make, sometimes you can be really quite accurate with it, sometimes you can just be a little bit mindful. And you know, there's gonna be an occasion when you aren't, but as long as the following day you just jump back on, consistency will always outweigh perfection. You don't need to be perfect, it's just about making those mindful choices just to keep you on track towards your goals in the long term, and these little things make a huge difference. So what I want you to do is I want you to download resources below. I want you to have a little think about when you're kind of going out for a meal or when you're wanting to drink alcohol, what's the easiest thing that you can do to make it so that you can still enjoy your night, you can still enjoy your meals and alcohol, but actually what you can do is still get the results that you want because you're making those choices. What do you think would work for you? Would it be reducing calories a few days before? Would it be reducing a few days after? That's what I find works for me. I always reduce a few days before just to give me a little calorie buffer. What could you change your breakfast? So say maybe your breakfast is, prime example, if my breakfast is porridge most mornings, if I know that I'm going out and I'm having a calorie dense dinner or lunch, I'll change that to literally yogurt and fruit. Like I'll just change my meals to be a lower calorie option to make sure that I can still get the results I want and I can still actually go out for those meals. So that's another way. It's all about just being somewhat accountable. And if I want, and I've done this before when going to a restaurant, I've actually worked out what the calories are so that actually I can just work that into my day and I can just deal with that on the day and then not have to worry about it. Again, picking the foods beforehand can really help keep you on track because like I said, when you get in the environment, sometimes the overwhelming excitement of the high palatability foods, you see it and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get a burger, I'm gonna get chips, and you can suddenly start to rack up these calories. You're just eventually gonna have to pay them back. Now, not always. I mean, as I said, sometimes if you do that once in a while and you don't track it, it's not gonna kill you. And the worst case scenario is you don't lose any weight that week. It's not gonna stop you or push you back, okay? But just making a small, even if it's just skipping breakfast, like Hayden has probably said many times, that's a common thing that he does. He skips breakfast and then just have a small lunch to then enjoy some beers in the evening. It's something that's so simple, that's easily accessible, it's easily achievable for him, while still allowing you to actually go out, drink booze, have fun, and have a nice social life, which is really, really, really important because you literally only live once and we shouldn't be making our diet completely rule our life. It should just fit in with our current lifestyle. We shouldn't be changing our whole lifestyle to actually fit our diet. So, download these resources. Any questions you have, fire them in the group. Any things you need help with, as per usual, maybe you've got an event coming up and you're really unsure and you'll still just need a little bit of clarification, jump in the group, let us know, and I'll be sure to help you out as soon as possible. Apart from that, hope you had an awesome weekend and we'll see you very, very soon. Take care.